On a quiet evening in Jerusalem, long after the sun had set and the city had fallen into darkness, Judas Iscariot found himself in deep contemplation. He was one of the 12 disciples, a trusted member of Jesus' inner circle. Yet tonight, he was restless. Questions about Jesus' mission and the growing tension with the authorities had been consuming him. Could it be that Jesus' mission needed a drastic push? Something so bold that it would shake the people from their complacency and compel them to believe. Judas had always been committed to Jesus and was fervently drawn to the idea of a new kingdom. Like many others, he believed Jesus was the Messiah. But he was beginning to wonder why Jesus hadn't made a move against the oppressive Roman Empire. His teachings were transformative, yet he remained passive in the face of injustice, preaching peace and love instead of revolt. It puzzled Judas, leaving him with doubts about whether Jesus' approach would truly liberate his people. One night, after another tense meeting with the disciples, Judas went for a walk. The city's shadows and narrow alleys made him feel like he was part of a grand plan yet to unfold. But it also filled him with an inexplicable weight. It was in this state that Judas encountered a group of religious leaders. They were the Pharisees, who had long been wary of Jesus' influence over the crowds. Seeing an opportunity, they began to sow seeds of doubt in Judas's mind. "What if this movement is all for nothing?" one of them whispered. "What if this path only leads to destruction?" Judas was silent, wrestling with the turmoil within him. He felt as if he were standing on the edge of a great decision, one that could change the course of history. As they continued to speak, a plan formed in his mind. A plan that he believed, in a strange way, could force Jesus to reveal his true power. If Jesus were handed over to the authorities, he would be compelled to act, to manifest his kingdom on earth in all its glory. Perhaps, Judas thought, this could be the catalyst for Jesus' rise as a leader who would deliver his people. The next day, with a heavy heart and a sense of misguided determination, Judas approached the priests. "What will you give me if I hand him over to you?" he asked, barely able to look them in the eyes. They offered him 30 pieces of silver, a sum that felt insignificant against the weight of what he was about to do. But Judas took it, believing he was setting in motion a test that Jesus could overcome. As the days unfolded, Judas watched with bated breath, expecting Jesus to defy the authorities with a display of divine power. But as the scene in the Garden of Gethsemane unfolded, Judas felt a pang of uncertainty. Jesus willingly allowed himself to be arrested, showing no resistance. He even looked at Judas with an expression that seemed to pierce through his very soul, as if he knew of Judas's inner turmoil and held no resentment. In the days that followed, Judas witnessed the events spiral out of his control. Jesus was tortured, mocked, and finally condemned to death on a cross. The realization of what he had set into motion began to crush Judas. He had not expected this. He had believed in a different outcome. He wanted Jesus to fulfill his role as Messiah. But now, with each lash and each jeer, Judas understood that he had misjudged everything. In a moment of despair, Judas returned to the temple, throwing the silver pieces on the ground before the priests. "I have betrayed innocent blood," he said, the weight of his actions pressing down on him with unbearable force. The priests turned away, indifferent to his regret. Alone, Judas was left to confront the gravity of his choices, the terrible truth that his betrayal had led to the crucifixion of his beloved teacher. Yet, even in the depths of his regret, Judas could not have foreseen the resurrection that would follow. The cosmic significance of his betrayal, the mystery of his actions, and the grander plan of salvation would only become clear with time. Jesus' forgiveness and love transcended betrayal, illuminating a path to redemption that was meant not only for Judas, but for all who would one day believe. Judas's story, one of sorrow and regret, would forever remain a powerful reminder of the complex path toward forgiveness and grace.